Today's episode of the Just Keep Swimming podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is an online audiobook and podcast service offering over 10,000 books and the ability to listen to your favorite podcasts, including the Just Keep Swimming podcast. I personally use Audible all the time and suggest you take a listen to Intentional Living by John C. Maxwell. In this book, Mr. Maxwell shares his story on how he was able to live a noble and purposeful life and gives you tips and tricks so you can do the same. So please start your 30-day free trial now at www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast, all lowercase. Again, that is www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast. And if you have any more questions or concerns for the Just Keep Swimming podcast, you're always welcome to reach out to us on Facebook or at Instagram at Just Keep Swimming _podcast, or you can email us at jkspodcast702@gmail.com. And with that out the way, let's dive into it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Just Keep Swimming podcast. This is your friend, your boy, your host, Mr. Adrian Jackson, and we back at it again with another great episode for you. And you already know who's with me. It's the man, the myth, the legend. It's Mr. 1-3, dropping hot beats for the city as always. So please check out his latest projects because he always got some new fire coming for you guys. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about getting a second opinion. So recently, in the previous episode, we talked about how to have some headaches and stuff, and I've been, just fighting through them pretty much. But I went to a neurologist, and, the neurologist checked me out allegedly, gave me some meds and all that stuff, but it wasn't really working. So I decided to go to my personal care PCP, whatever personal primary care physician or something like that, whatever the term stands for. I want to go see my personal doctor, and she gave me a whole different opinion that none of these other doctors have given me. So, they were always talking about, it's just migraines. We don't know what causes migraines, ABC. But when I went to my doctor, my primary care doctor, she did one thing that none of the other doctors did, and that was to check my ears. And when she checked my ears, she was like, you have a lot of fluid in your ears, and that's probably because of your allergies, because you have bad allergies, and I believe that these headaches are coming from your allergies. And I'm like, you're the first one to say this to me, and it actually does make sense, because where I feel the pain at, and when I feel the pain, where the pain comes from, I do feel like it's my allergies, like my allergy canal or whatever it's called, my nasal canal. And, my nose sometimes does get clogged. And when I've been taking Benadryl recently, I've been feeling a lot better. And she was like, yeah, so it could be your allergies, so I'm gonna prescribe this, that, and the third for you to help clear up your allergy sinuses. And I was like, thank you so much for this opinion, because none of the other doctors, one, they never even checked my ears, you know what I'm saying? They gave me IV, they gave me shots, they prescribed me with hella meds, but they never even once looked into my ears to see that, this could be your issue right here. And I thought that right there just made me think to a whole nother level of like, I'm so glad I came and talked to her, because at first I was fearful that I'm gonna come talk to this person and they're going to say the same things to me, give me the same runarounds, prescribe the same stuff to me, and nothing's about to change. And there is no answer for what I'm going for. But then once I got this second opinion, it was like, my lights just opened up, and now I feel like I have hope and faith again. And last night I actually had a pretty good sleep once I started taking these allergy meds. And it's like, if I would never got that second opinion, I would have thought that I was stuck in whatever this situation is. So, that kind of just makes me advocate for, go out and get a second opinion. A lot of times, we go talk to somebody who is a quote unquote expert, and yes, they'll give us their solution, their answer, But, you know, it's always best to go and find another expert that's good in the field as well to see if they say the same thing, because you never know. This expert could have a different mindset from the other expert, you know. I'm like that with the students. Like, a lot of times I have students that will go to their counselor, and when they talk to their counselor will pretty much tell them, you don't have no chance of going to college. You should just focus on graduating and finding a job. And then the student will come talk to me, and I'll be like, oh yeah, we can get you to college. I understand your GPA is low. I understand you've been struggling a little bit, but it's not too late, because, you know, once you get into the college, all you have to do is just do good there, and you have a whole new GPA, and this GPA is no longer irrelevant. And it's crazy about like the lights that light up in their eyes. Like, I even had one girl start crying because she didn't think she had an opportunity to do anything with her future. Like, she felt like she messed up big time, and the person that was like, you know, her expert, her professional, told her that, yeah, you're not going nowhere. But then she came and got a second opinion from me, and I'm like, yeah, we can make this work. We can figure it out. And that right there just puts so much hope back into the student's eyes. And ironically, she actually did graduate on time, and she's at CSN right now going to college. So big shout out to her for doing what she was supposed to do. But at the same time, you know, I'm so glad that she came and got a second opinion and just didn't take what this first person said as law, because at the end of the day, we don't know what these people be going through. We're all humans at the end of the day, you know. Like, people get tired, people get aggravated. Sometimes people see the same thing so much that they assume that I've seen this happen with 90 cases, so it must happen with 100. But it's like, no, this other 10% can be a whole different beast, a whole different breed, you know. But that 10% can stop itself if it just takes this answer from front, you know, up front. Like playing football a lot. I love to play football, you know. One of my things I love about football is how many people are actually watching the game at one time. We're all watching the same game, but look, you have the players on the field, you have the coaches on the sideline, and then you have the play callers up in the top, the booths, pretty much watching the game from the top. And it's like, a lot of times the coach will always start off with getting opinion from their players, like, what do you see out there, what's happening, let me know what you think. But then the best advice sometimes comes from the person that's up top, that's looking from the top from a whole different point of view from everybody, because the coach is going to see it from the sideline and the player can only see it from what they're coming from. But the person at top will see that, hey, the DB is not dropping back as far as he's supposed to be. I say we should throw a ball over his head, and, you know, we should have a better chance of a touchdown. And it's like, the coach needs those multiple opinions to make the best decision for himself, you know. Just having one opinion, that's only one option. So it's like, go find a second opinion and get another option, because you never know what this second opinion can give to you. A lot of times that happens with cars. I worked on the cars a lot in the garage, like changing brakes, radiators. One of my biggest issues that I had was actually my tensioning the belt tensioner under the car. So if you don't know what a belt tensioner is, you know, we all have belts that run the car, and you have this belt that runs the AC unit. When the starter starts up, it turns on the AC, turns the engine, turns the oil crankshaft, and all this stuff. And my belt loosener was weak. So at first I went to AutoZone, bought one straight up from there. The one I put on, it didn't really work. So I went to Nissan, got one from Nissan, put that one on, it didn't really work. So finally I was like, you know what? Let me go to AutoZone one more time and talk to somebody there, you know, somebody with some expertise, and see what they think, because the guy at Nissan said this should work. The other AutoZone said it should work. Let me go to a whole different store and see what they say. And when I went to, actually I didn't go to AutoZone, I went to O'Reilly's. So when I got to O'Reilly's, the guy was like, well, the product that I was going to sell you is the exact same one as AutoZone, and Nissan does have the best product, because, you know, that right there is actually made for their car. But if neither one of them are working, my idea would be is to, you know, take pieces from both of them, put them together, and then see if that works. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I didn't even think about that. So that's exactly what I did. I got back to the garage. I took apart the pulley system, took pieces from that one, took pieces from this one, and put it back together so I can make it so it fits my car. And after that, I had no issues. But it's like, I would never got that answer, that idea, if I didn't get a second opinion from somebody else, you know, get a third opinion, another idea to flow into the pot. And I think that right there is just magical, like the value that really comes from going out and asking other people, you know. And I think that's something that we should all just just try to practice in everyday stuff, like right now, I'm having little issues with my job. We're not sure what's going to happen with the program, being that the government's trying to shut us down and all that stuff. And a lot of people out there, oh, it's gonna be fine, just go find you another job, F it, blah blah blah, we're not gonna make it. They just have this negative mindset. And then I had my boss, I had my one-on-one with her, and while I was talking to her, she was like, well, Adrian, this is what I think is gonna happen, and this is how I'm about to move. And when she explained it to me, and I was like, that does make more sense. Let me not live in fear right now and start to just panic that everything's going to break loose. Let me have this peace of mind that things are going to work out, because she was like, if it's not going to work out, UNLV would notify you, because it's in our contract to give us 30-day notice before they let us go. So it's like, when you get that 30-day notice, then okay, that's your sign to really go look for a new job. But as of right now, it's no point in stressing yourself out and worrying if we are not even at that point yet. And I'm like, you know what, that right there is a great opinion right there. And I do love that mindset, because it really helps me think a little better, think a little clearer, and relax myself from where I'm at right now. Because a lot of people, they get that first opinion from a doctor, or from a friend, or from a coworker, and they start to panic and assume that it's all about to be hell breaking loose. But it's like, sometimes you may need to reach out to that second person, maybe a person more positive, a person a different experience, a person with a different mindset, and ask them what they think about the situation. And then you'll get a whole different opinion that you're like, you know what, I never even thought about it that way, let me try that and see how it works. And a lot of times it does work when you get that second, third, fourth opinion from somebody else. So I kind of just want to share this message with the mindset of, a lot of people know a lot. We know there's experts in the world, even doctors. You're not supposed to question a doctor, but a lot of times you need that second, third opinion. I love to watch YouTube shorts, and in YouTube shorts, I think it's the show House. I'm not sure if the show is called House, but there's pretty much a doctor that knows, like, he's super smart, one of the best doctors ever. And it's like, every time he comes in and he starts to say what he thinks it is, everybody starts to negate it. No, it can't be that, it can't be this, it can't be that. And then he'll start to do something to prove that what he was saying was right, And it's like, everybody, all the patients always look at him with that mindset of like, wow, I'm so glad you came in here, because I thought I was going to lose my foot, or I thought I was going to have to, give up this for the rest of my life. And he's like, no, that's not it. It's this right here, because of this, that, and the third. But if they would just stop and listen to the first person, they'll probably hinder themselves for the rest of their life, Like a lot of times with this cryptocurrency and bankers, one bank will tell you, no, we're not going to finance you because we don't believe this is profitable. This right here is a bad business idea. Let's not deal with you. But then when you get to that third, fourth, fifth bank, that's when they'll be like, you know what? This is a great idea, and I think you can do it, and we're going to make this happen, And usually that right there is what's the catalyst that's going to get you to the next level, because it shows that what you thought wasn't crazy, but you just need another opinion from somebody else to get to where you need to be, And I think that right there is just beautiful, you guys. So that's my mindset for you guys today, is to go out there, get that second, third opinion. Don't just take the first answer that you get as law, because there's so many different ways, shapes, and forms to get around stuff, to get through stuff, to get over things. And a lot of times people are just stuck in their own world, and they feel like, oh, I seen it happen this way one time, it's always going to happen this way. And it's like, no, the world is always constantly changing. There's always so many different ways, circumstances that things can work out, and we need to, stay open-minded and maybe ask somebody else to see what somebody else is think. Like, my favorite quote is always, 1,000 people will say no, but there's always gonna be that one person that's gonna say yes. Find that one person so you can get what you actually need, want, desire. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that resonated with you guys today. Sorry if it didn't. I got so much allergy medicine in me right now, trying to clear my mind up. My mind is a little cloudy, but I did sleep pretty well. I'm feeling pretty good, getting back to normal. Just got to get this Benadryl out of my system, because Benadryl is my kryptonite for sure. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that message resonated with you guys today. Again, just go out there, get that second, third opinion, ask advice from different people, put it together to make it work for yourself. What whatever you have to do, but just know that the first answer doesn't always have to be the final answer. You know, there's so many other ways, shapes, and forms to get around it. So keep your mind open, keep your heart alert, never give up, keep fighting for yourself, and you're going to get there. But yes, with all that said, I hope you guys have a great day, a marvelous afternoon, a splendid evening, and remember to just keep swimming.